Hi, my name is Lisa. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to do some yoga for our hips. So let's begin with our yoga mats and standing with our feet about hip distance apart. And we'll begin with our centering. So let's take one hand to our heart, one hand to our belly. And let's focus in on some breath. So just simply letting the shoulders relax down. Either the eyes are closed or the gaze can be down. So a soft face, and feel yourself breathe in and breathe out. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose or the mouth. Feel the heart, the chest rise, the abdominals filling up with breath, and feel the exhale. We're just centering and organizing our body, preparing for some really good stretches, strengthening, mobility, especially for the hips. So taking another deep breath in, full and conscious exhalation. Becoming aware of our surroundings, what's here in the present moment, whether it's the temperature, the air, the birds, wherever you are in this moment in time, just recognizing where you are, all of those sensations around you. Let's go ahead and bring our hands down by our side, roll the shoulders down and back, and then making sure that we have about a hip distance apart stance with our feet. And let's take a look at our feet first. So just see where they are. Some of us might have a little more turn out. Our toes might be turning out a little bit. That's fine. And then we want to establish a pretty firm foundation. So we want to invest in our foundation because our hips really are important with that foundation. So we build upon that. So let's place the weight. We're going to actually move forward and back. So we're going to place the weight of our body in our toes. So the toes are going to grip a little bit. And then we're going to rock back, almost like we're falling backwards, but please don't. We're going to rock back to the outside of our heels, or the back of our heels. And then we're going to rock forward again. So find the balls or the toes. So it's almost like you're kind of crunching your toes so that you're not falling forward. And then rock back, almost like you're trying to fall back towards those heels, back of the heels. Let's come forward again, and I want us to hold. So as we are pitched forward, we might notice that our quads are really engaged as well as our hips. So they're kind of tight. So if we tend to stand in this stance, we might have really tight hips in the front. And then if we're like kind of leaning back, kind of notice where the tightness is here. It's more in the hamstrings and the glutes. So we want to find the center, which is about probably right in front of the heel, the front heel. So let's find that balance where our shoulders are stacked over our hips over our ankles, and let's just soften the knees just a little bit. So taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more time, inhale. Let's just reach those arms out to the side. We're standing in mountain. So finding our posture, coming into attention and really just noticing our posture, where we are in this moment right now. So one more thing before we begin. So let's imagine that our feet are really pressing down even more energetically into the ground. So feel the toes, the ball of the foot, and then imagine that your shins are pulling apart. So almost as if we were pulling the mat apart with our shins. So there's a sense of pulling outward. And then feel a sense of pulling inward through those inner thighs. So your glutes engage a little bit, maybe 30%. So feel that foundation. So feeling that stability in our hips, let's begin to move. So inhale, the arms float up. And exhale, they float back down. And inhale, fill up. And exhale down. One more time, inhale, moving those arms with the breath, filling up, and then exhale. Let's take our hands to heart center. We're going to bend the knees, quite a bit for this first one. So send the hips back. We're tipping from the pelvis, so tipping from the hips, so a hip hinge. Our spine is long into the last minute. We release down, and let's hold here. So I'll turn sideways. So our legs are bent quite a bit. Some of us might have our hands on the ground. Some of us might be here. Or if you have yoga blocks, you can have your yoga blocks side to side. Wherever we are, let's remember that feeling of pulling the shin bones outward. The feet are really rooted. And then the inner thighs pull together just a little bit. So that firm foundation. Remember, we invest in that foundation and build from there. So holding here for a few more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. And then let's go ahead and rise back up. So we extend the spine. We keep the bend until the last minute as we extend. Remember, our weight is in the front of the heel. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Let's do that one more time. Just coming into our forward fold. Inhale. Exhale, a soft bend in the knees. And then fold forward. Release, shins, pressing out. Inner thighs pulling in. Let the head hang heavy wherever your hands rest. And then it starts to extend the spine, look forward slightly, come all the way back up. This time let's sink into our chair pose. So hands come into the center of the body, shoulders are down and back, and a slight press through the palms so we activate the upper middle back area. We don't want to forget about that. So taking a breath in, really feel the abdominals brace and pull back a little bit more. Everything's pretty active. Remember, shins pulling out, inner thighs pulling in, so that we track those knees and our pelvis can remain very stable. Inhale, we're gonna flow with this. So inhale, the arms float up. Exhale, we fold. Let's take a half lift here so that the hands come to the shins or stay on the floor. And then exhale, refold. Coming up, reversing that flow, we come into our chair. Exhaling. Again, inhale, lift. Open, open, open. Exhale, fold. Inhale, draw in through those abdominals, half lift and refold. Reversing our swan dive, we come up, and this time let's hold into our chair. So remembering those points of pulling out, but pulling in, and then we're going to take it into a little bit more. So let's shift the weight over towards the left leg. Start to unweight the right foot, and we're going to try to extend the leg out to the side. Doesn't have to fully straighten. And we're going to bring the heel forward, whether it touches or not, that's up to you, but we're still trying to track our knee forward, and then the leg circles around and the toes touch back. Meanwhile, the hips stay square. So we've got this mobility thing going on, but we also have some stability stuff going on. So we're just making a circle. It's okay if we, it's kind of challenging here. And then take it around. This time hold it back. So plant the foot, might be close to the other foot, it might be a little further away. Let's see if we can straighten our legs. This is not comfortable. Certainly bring them side by side, but let's try. Keeping that left or that right hip coming forward. Inhale, arms float up. And then exhale, let's swan dive down, hands to shins or the floor. Pulling our right hip forward. Hanging out, and then exhaling, looking forward, squeezing those legs together, press, 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 and then come all the way back up, standing side by side, sinking it back into our chair pose. Palms are pressing together a little bit energetically here. Shifting our weight over towards our right leg, extend the leg out to the side. Turn the heel, kind of present your ankle, and then it comes around and back. So we're swinging the leg around, rotating outward, and then bringing it back around inward. And one more time, present your ankle, come back around, and then hold, straightening the legs, lift up, and then exhale, fold. Stay here for just a moment. Inhale, exhale, and then Scooping those abdominals, lengthening the spine, squeeze the legs together, re-rise, and we step back to both feet coming together. Very good. Stepping out wide into our moonflower. So our knees and toes are rotating outward a little bit. And then let's go ahead and sink on down. So making sure that our knees are pretty much over our ankle and our thighs are pressing back. Knees and toes are tracking in the same general direction. Let's reach the arms up and then strongly pull the elbows down a little bit to the sides and then stretch back up and pull down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And reach and pull and reach and pull and reach. We're breathing in, breathing out. And last one, this time let's hold our bend and we're going to lean over or lunge over towards the right. So the hands can come to the thigh, shoulders are down and back. We could even raise the toes if we want, sit the hips back and go for the stretch on the inner thigh area here. Really feel that stretch. Important part of for the health of our hips, getting that flexibility in the adductor inner thigh area. And so let's go to the other side and then pull those toes up. We have about 20 muscles in our hips, give or take. So that's a lot of muscle. So very intricate and there's a lot of players. So we're going to try to target some of those areas. And we're going to come all the way back up. This time let's pivot around, coming into a lunge, a crescent lunge position. So reach the arms up. We're high on the ball of the back foot. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then go ahead and lower that knee down as we bring our body weight forward. You can have blocks here if you'd like. And then let's find that lunge position on the ground. So really squaring the hips, reaching the shoulders down and back, and reaching the chest forward. Breathing in and breathing out. We're going to shift the weight back as we straighten that back leg to your ability. Everybody has a different structure, different flexibility. So bringing it out, pulling the toes back, breathing. It's pretty intense. Go to where enough is enough. And then let's go ahead and come back into that lunge. We're going to plant the hands and step back to downward facing dog. So nice and slow, arrive in that down dog. Soft bend in the knees, letting the head come through, nice and relaxed. Holding here. Let's come forward into plank. So once again, high on the balls of the back feet, really push the floor away. Think about breaking your shins outward as your legs squeeze together, your upper legs squeeze together. Feel that sensation. Good. And then let's lift the hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Lift the back leg up and look forward, come into lunge. Pull back foot in, warrior one, rise. So really feeling that back leg straight. Heel is down, arms are lifted. Breathing in and breathing out, warrior one. Stretching through the front hip, squaring those hips. Important part is to keep it stretched and stable and open, but also strong. So we're going to reach forward, coming into our warrior three. So turn the heel up and then start to lean forward, long spine, stable spine, and then reach the leg up. Your choice with arms. They can be here, out to the side, or maybe even forward. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Energy in all places here. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, coming back to lunge, crescent lunge, and then back into our moonflower. So pulling the elbows down and then stretching the arms up. Exhale this time, inhale, stretch. Notice those hips might be a little more open. We might be going a little deeper this time. All right, let's do one more. And then let's go ahead and rotate to the other side. So pivot around, come into that crescent lunge, hold here, really opening up through the front of the body, pressing that leg as straight as we possibly can. Shin pressing out, inner thighs engaged. Let's come down to the ground. Let's sink that knee down as well and come into that lunge on the other side. So kneeling lunge. Abdominals engaged, shoulders are down and back. Breathing in and breathing out. How about the hamstrings? Let's go ahead and shift the weight back, but the hips are square. Pull the toes back, elongate through the spine, come up a little higher. We're all different, definitely. And coming back into that lunge, curl the back toes underneath. And let's go ahead and come into that downward facing dog. So reaching back, stretching those heels down. Hold here for just a moment. Take the child's pose if you need it. Let's lift that back leg up, 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 up. Look forward, plant the foot. Turn the back foot out slightly and rise into warrior one. So our hips are fairly square, but they don't necessarily have to be fully square because we got our leg behind us, so that's fine. But we want to really feel the opening of that front hip. That's the main thing. So holding here for 5, 4, can we sink down a little bit more with the front leg, but straighten the back leg. Very nice. Okay, we can do this. This is our strength challenge for our hips. So good. So this time, let's do square the hips a little bit more. Start to pitch the body weight forward. Press into your hands, use your back, and then start to lift up. Warrior 3. Your variation with arms. Whatever you want, take it. Really reaching in all directions, pulling the belly up, lengthening the spine, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back in, and then stretch our way all the way back up. Hands come to heart center. Start to walk the feet back in. And then let's go ahead and we're going to find our downward facing dog. So we can go ahead and pivot to the side if you have your mat just like mine. We're going to find our dogs. So inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. How about we step back to that plank position again. Find your strength in your arms. Remember, we're breaking out with our shins, and we're squeezing our inner thighs, and our glutes are engaged. Maybe 30%, something like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 70. Make it strong. Breathe in, breathe out. And then let's go ahead and lower our knees down and find the pose of the child. So stretch back, widen your knees if you need to. You could even cross your hands here. And then find a rest pose here for just a moment. Recenter, reorganize, refocus, breathe before we move into some deeper stretches. Excellent. So we're moving into pigeon pose. So let's come and find our downward facing dog. Press those heels back and then pop on up. Let's take the back leg up first. So we're just gonna reach it up, bend the knee, come forward with the knee, lines up to the back of the wrist, the back hand's wrist, and then we're just going to slide back. Now, if this is not comfortable to you, you could certainly do a pigeon lying down on your back. That's perfectly fine too. So you're making that figure 4 shape. But otherwise, find anything you need to boost your bird. We're going to lift up, open the chest, and then exhale, bring ourselves down. We have a few moments here. We give ourselves a few moments for this stretch. It takes a little bit of time. So release into it with the breath. Thinking of our hips, our flexibility, our mobility. The importance of our hips. Keep breathing in our pigeon. I'm going to hold here for about 2 more breaths. You can always press the pause button if you want to hold for longer. This pose is good to hold for a pretty good length of time, so pause it if you want. Otherwise, let's go ahead and plant our hands, curl back toe underneath, step back to downward facing dog, and then pick up your other leg, inhale it up, and then exhale, bring it through, lift up through that chest. Extend the spine, square the hips as much as possible. Inhale, and then exhale, begin to lengthen forward. So some of us may just stay right here or come to the elbows or even all the way to the floor. So keep the breath flowing wherever you are in your pigeon pose. We use that exhale to really release into the stretch. So think of that, maybe releasing 10% more, relaxing 10% more with about 2 more breaths here. Inhale through the nose, exhale, release. 1 more time, and release. So coming out, we need to tip over towards the side, watch the knees. We want to go slow. Once we're over to that hip, let's pull the knees in, swing around to one side, and then let's go ahead and take ourselves down to the ground. So we're going to come into a twist, which is really good for the hips and the back, and then we're going to come into our final relaxation. So let's go ahead and go for it. So we're going to come all the way down, supported. We're just rolling down. And then let's go ahead and extend the legs out long. Palms are open or closed, just wherever you feel most comfortable. Let's lift the back leg straight up. Hold for a moment. Flex the foot. I know it's a little bit of strength here, but that's okay. Holding here. Then we're going to bend the knee, wrap the hands underneath the hamstring, pull that knee in. Feels good. Really feel that release through the front of the hip. Now let's press that back foot down into the ground. So we want to lift our hips and we're going to tip over, let that knee come across and come into that T position. And bring your knee across wherever it feels right to you. Taking it into your twist right here. Remember coming into that present moment. Maybe the smells, the sounds, the air temperature, the breath, keeping ourselves present, letting go of expectations and any judgments. Let's come back to center and then extend that leg. That's the front leg, extending up, hold, flex the foot, hold, and the knee, wrap a hold and gently pull that knee in, feel that hip opening. Let's lower that foot down, Hands are by our side or out to the T position. Pick up the hips and then tip over. So we're swinging the hips out a little bit. It's just a little bit more comfortable for that back. And then come into the twist on the other side. Feeling everything, releasing, breathing in, breathing out. And then coming back to center. You have a few moments here just to relax, so let your arms come down by your side. Your feet or your legs are out a little wider. We're holding here with our own breathing rhythm. And just relax. See if we can relax a little bit more. Scan the body. So let's begin to wiggle our fingers and our toes, walking the feet in, and then bringing the knees in towards the chest, wrapping the hands underneath the legs, just gently tug on in. And then let's go ahead and roll to one side and press our way up. We'll come into a seated position that's comfortable for you. So bringing those legs in front, extending the spine, once again, finding our center, organizing our body, taking our palms to face up, taking a breath in, and focusing in on those hips. We exhale. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.